Everyone, thank you. Thank you very much for coming today and to join all of us as we kick off our San Francisco 2011 Fleet Week. And I'm pleased to welcome all of you here to celebrate the 30th anniversary of our Fleet Week. And it's been a long tradition, but one that we're very proud of in our city and county of San Francisco. It's an opportunity for us not only to see great air shows, but I think most seriously to thank our women and men in our armed forces for all of their dedication to our country and to the safety of everybody in our country. Thank you very much for being here today. You know, Fleet Week is, as I said earlier, it's a time to celebrate our naval history and our maritime traditions. And San Francisco has always been a town that it's honored its military and all of its women and men who serve in uniform. And this year's event not only does that, but it also does something that we've started last year, General Myatt, and that was to focus on our city's emergency preparedness and do it with our partners in the armed forces. And so we're celebrating and supportive of this whole goal as Fleet Week is looking at the mission of teaching all of our residents and first responders of how to prepare better for emergencies. And that's something that all of us San Franciscans understand, and we can always do better to prepare ourselves. Our Fleet Week also commemorates the 100th anniversary of the birth of naval aviation. And so I want you to know this, because here's the history buffs. You gotta put this one down. Did you know that the very first airplane that launched off the deck of a boat happened on the USS Pennsylvania in 1911, right here in the San Francisco Bay Area? That's a fact. It wasn't just Mayor Ed Lee capsizing AC-45 off the bay in preparation for America's Cup, so that was not commemorative. This year's Fleet Week will see an unprecedented number of ships from the U.S. Third Fleet, including the U.S. aircraft carriers, the Coast Guard, the Royal Canadian Navy, and the World War II Liberty ship, Jeremiah O'Brien, which will all participate in the parade of ships this Saturday and will be available for our public to visit throughout the weekend. I want to say also that I want to just give a special shout out, in addition to all of our armed forces, that we work every single day with our local San Francisco Coast Guard. They're out there every day checking and inspecting our piers and making sure that all of the events that we have, especially on Fleet Week weekend, that they're securing the area. They're in that fine balance of looking at and making sure that as the ships come in, whether they're sailboats or commercial vessels, they're doing all the appropriate inspections and balancing. I just want to recognize the Coast Guard for doing that and doing it every single day as we lead up to increased security precautions leading up to America's Cup 34. And of course, what we celebrate every year and what I personally look forward to, not only during the weekend, but their practice sessions throughout our Bay Area, and that's of course our world famous Blue Angels, who also of course contribute to the thrill of all of the visitors we have here, and even those practice sessions are amazing, and we take a break from our work because it is a little different than hearing the latest protest, in front of City Hall. This is another one that we look forward to, is the practice sessions throughout the week, and that starts, I believe, tomorrow, and so I look forward to that. And as you know, there's another point of history, and I don't know if you know this. It's another one that I'm proud of, is that in our tradition of having the U.S. military here in the Bay Area, you didn't know that Chinatown's Portsmouth Square is actually named after the USS Portsmouth, which was one of the very first official American vessels to visit the San Francisco Bay Area. So I want to acknowledge that, and I want to also give special acknowledgement to our Fleet Week's chairperson, General Myatt, who's brought really an important emphasis on connecting up Fleet Week with the humanitarian assistance and disaster response that now it's been known to have. And I also know that all of our departments are very proud of and very much looking forward to this, General Myatt, as we do the leadership training that starts tomorrow. It is the Senior Leaders Seminar, which is one of the highlights that we look forward to in this year's 2011 Fleet Week. And that is allows our federal, our state, and our local officials to review our response plans in conjunction with emergency management personnel and responders throughout our city agencies, and to make sure that we can integrate that with our military relief efforts. And that's a very special item that we get to practice because it really is a matter of when our natural disaster will be on us, and we want to make sure we practice everything we could possibly do and take advantage, full advantage of our military personnel being here in the Bay Area. You know, this is a very truly unique learning and relationship building that we have an opportunity to do every time we have Fleet Week here. And the representatives from a broad range of agencies, whether they're local or regional or state or federal, can come together on these seminars and exchange tabletop exercises, as well as interact with our own city's Department of Emergency Management. I want to personally thank our honorary Fleet Week co-chairs, and that's been, of course, a very good friend and still our Senator Dianne Feinstein, as well as our former Secretary of State, George Shultz, both of whom are very busy today and can't be here, but I wanted to just give a very personal nod to their leadership as being our honorary co-chairs. Both of them have been working really hard behind the scenes to make sure that we put fleet back into the term Fleet Week, and they've been instrumental historically to make sure that we honored this tradition and found the support to grow this very big event. I also want to thank the many sponsors and government agencies that have come together to have stepped up for the Fleet Week, all the activities, especially our public safety departments, our police and fire, our management of our transit authority, our SFMTA, our port, our recreation and parks department, and our airport, and of course, as I mentioned, our Department of Emergency Management. And today we have representatives from the U.S. Navy, as well as the Canadian Navy, in addition to the Marines, the U.S. Coast Guard. I want to thank all of them for being here and helping us kick off our 30th celebration of Fleet Week. And now I'd like to introduce the chair, someone who's been working very hard and continues to remind me to make sure that I've put time aside for all of the numerous events that will occur in our wonderful city at this time, and that's, of course, General Myatt. Come on up, General.
Thank you, Mayor. I really appreciate that. I will tell you that when you do have an honorary pair of co-chairs like Senator Feinstein and Secretary Shultz, you do get a little rudder guidance now and then to put you on the right track, and I'm really pleased that we've had that. I think this focus on humanitarian assistance and disaster response is the right thing to be doing. We have the best humanitarian assistance providers in the world, and they're the members of the naval services and actually the U.S. military. So why not take advantage of their expertise and their skills? And they've demonstrated it and actually used it as recently here in Japan with the major earthquake that took place in Japan. I will tell you, the members of the military here today have been working with us all along for a long time, not just this last week, but it's been months. And to my right, your left, Vice Admiral Manson Brown, he commands all the Coast Guard west of the Mississippi all the way to China, and his folks have been crucial because the Coast Guard will probably be the first responders in a maritime environment in the Bay Area. So I'm really pleased to have him part of our team. To his left is Major General Melvin Speece. He's a commanding general of the 1st Marine Expeditionary Brigade and the deputy commander of the Marine Expeditionary Force down at Camp Pendleton. And he's been working with us and really driving this scenario that we've had with the tabletop exercise on medical surge. How do we deal with issues of large number of casualties if we have a large catastrophic earthquake? And to his left would be Rear Admiral Jerry Huber, and he's the commander of the Expeditionary Strike Force and part of the 3rd Fleet. And the Navy, as you know, the 3rd Fleet, they're coming in today. There's one ship already here, and he's here representing Vice Admiral Beeman, and Vice Admiral Beeman would be here, but he doesn't fly in until 1700. But the Third Fleet has just been terrific in this whole process. So I want to thank the U.S. Naval Services that are represented here today, but I also want to thank this wonderful committee I have. We're all volunteers. You know, they have day jobs. I think our day jobs have become our night jobs, though, with Fleet Week, because we believe it's very important. And there's an aspect of what the city's cooperation here, this Department of Emergency Management in the city and county of San Francisco, put on the most marvelous tabletop exercise. Everybody learns so much, and the skills that they bring to the table to help us get ready, I'm just really, really impressed. There's one other thing I would like to focus on, and that's these neighborhood emergency response teams. We are actually showcasing what they do in San Francisco, in Oakland, in San Jose, and all the communities. All the cities have these volunteer groups that help the neighborhoods get ready. And we're going to have 60 of their team leaders with us during the Senior Leader Seminar on Friday. And they're going to actually see a presentation by a Deputy Director of FEMA on the role of these neighborhood emergency response team leaders in the disaster that occurred in Joplin, Missouri, and how critical they were in saving so many lives. But it's our chance to really recognize those NERT folks, elevate in other people's eyes the importance that they're going to play when we have the big earthquake, and to thank them so much for what they do. I mean, they're all volunteers. Nobody pays them anything. They just do it because they believe it's important. But with that, Mayor Lee, thank you for your support for Fleet Week. It is going to be one of the biggest ever. I think our air show will be the biggest in North America. It will be well done, it will be safe, and everybody will have a good time. Thank you all very much for coming.
General Myatt was absolutely correct. This is an opportunity for us not only to celebrate our military and the women and men that are in there, but also to bring our city even closer together, to train them and to constantly build those relationships through the NERT program. That's a wonderful thing. So with the thousands of people that will be here throughout the weekend, we of course have our general of protocol, and that is the Coach Charlotte Schultz. And she's been wonderful, and she's going to help me acknowledge the participation of so many people here today that have really used their personal time to help make our Fleet Week very successful. And so with that,
first one is for the Navy.
I'd like to present a certificate of honor to our United States Navy. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Sir, can we get a picture with the three of us?
Certainly.
Okay, great. How you doing, man? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to keep working down to the heights and my height so I can get something going here.
And then my secretaries.
Oh, yes, yes. And of course, as you know, she meant that our former Secretary of State, George Shultz, was a retired Marine. And this...
Never retired.
Oh, I never retired. Okay. And so we'd like to present a certificate of honor to our United States Marine Corps. I'm sure he can run faster than me right now. And as I mentioned earlier, we want to give a recognition to the ongoing work that we have with presenting a certificate of honor to our United States Coast Guard. Yes, and of course, as you know, I said earlier that it's in addition to our U.S. Armed Forces, we have joining us the Royal Canadian Air Force, so a certificate of honor to the Royal Canadian Air Force. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Pleasure.
Consul General of Canada, and she will accept for this one as well.
Okay. And representing the country of Canada, Certificate of Honor presented to the Consul General of Canada, and also she'll be accepting the Certificate of Honor for the Royal Canadian Navy.
Thank you very much. Declare Fleet Week to General Maya.
Absolutely. And of course, something that the mayor always gets to do, we get to make a proclamation, which means free parking for the whole weekend. Drinks everywhere. And you know, I'd like to really make this a special one, because I know that General Myatt has really put his heart into it. And it's not just the weeks beforehand. All year round, we're talking about how to make Fleet Week successful, how to make the honor and tradition to be even more visible to everybody here, because we know that this is the time in our country's history where we really need to show much more appreciation for all of the people that are been done here and all of the history that we have with our armed forces. And so, General Myatt, I want to just thank you for your great leadership, for your constant vigilance in making sure our city does well, and then for your personal perseverance and volunteering all your personal time to do this. On behalf of the city of San Francisco, we declare this Fleet Week, and thank you very much for your work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you very much. We're kicking it off. It's all sunny. And look out and start listening for the Blue Angels. They'll be flying before you know it. Thank you very much, everybody.